What's up, World Wide Web? This is Edwin Rose from Edwin Rose, bringing the truth to politics. We'll jump right into it. We're going to talk about the violence that's going on in America right now. Um, Getting to the story of all the gentlemen that have been killed and the things that have been going on. But I want to separate one that I've seen, and this was the first guy that was getting the media attention, is Eric Garner. Um, when I first saw the video, I was like, yeah, um, dirty cops this and dirty cops that. But I got a chance to see the full video. Now, taking into consideration that this is a 6'4", 400-pound man, and the cop looks like a teenager standing next to him. So, watching the full video, um, the rules of engaging an officer were not followed. He was combative. He told the cop what he was and wasn't going to do. He told the cop that he was tired of all this and tired of them messing with him, and he wasn't going to comply with the officer. The officer was simply trying to get him out the way so they could find out what truly went on in the incident at the store. Um, he didn't want to be handcuffed, so that's a recipe to get your butt whooped if you're considered a threat. Um, I am 6'2". I am over 300 pounds, if you guys can see. Tried to wear something small. I wore my little, I wore that today. I want you guys to see me, I'm not a small dude. So by standards, I'm a threat to a police officer. I'm over 6 foot. I'm over 200 pounds. They see you as a threat. I used to have an issue with that. But take into consideration, you're 5'8", 130 pounds. I'm naturally stronger and naturally bigger than you. You have to protect yourself to get home to your family. Okay? It's understandable. So don't be like, they're trying to do this to blacks and they're trying to, no, they're not. They're trying to protect themselves to get home. It took me a minute to get over the intimidating thing, but you're intimidating. We're naturally stronger, we're naturally bigger. We have, even as a fat guy, I'm pretty sure he was naturally stronger than half of the guys that was on top of him. Unfortunate incident, but he brought that up on himself. And I want to get right into this whole tape. I want you guys to understand. This is about educating you. In dealing with an officer, and I'll use my personal experiences. In dealing with an officer, a couple of things you don't want to do. First thing first, you don't want to run. Okay? You don't want to be combative. Don't want to talk too much. A lot of you young cats right now got a problem with your mouth. You just talk way too much. And then the other thing is, when an officer asks you to do something, just do it. Just do it. Just comply. And my biggest issue with everybody right now is respect. I don't care if he's a bad officer, but guess what? You show that officer some respect, yes sir. No sir. Was just standing here, sir. Heading back to home, gonna head home. No sir, yes sir. Answer his questions and show respect. Guarantee you, I personally guarantee you walk away from that. You might feel funny about it, but you'll walk away from it alive. You'll walk away from it with your dignity. You'll walk away from it without your neck being choked. So, using my personal experience, right outside these doors, I was arrested in 2011. Cops came to my house. 2010. Cops came to my house, arrested me. When I was getting into my truck to go to work, Like 5 cop cars pulled up out of nowhere, surrounded me. Okay, I complied with everything they said. I was yes sir, no sir. They even took the cuffs off from being behind me and put them in front of me. That's not police policy. They don't do that for people. I was like, dude, it's way too tight. He was like, no, no problem. Put it in front of me. Everybody, when I say everybody was cool, everybody was cool. They booked me. Everybody was cool. When I tell you, I wish I knew their names, but the correctional officers, everybody was cool. Because first and foremost, I didn't know what the hell I was getting arrested for. But was I in there running my mouth? Was I in there popping off at the mouth? They could see it. This is their job. They know what's going on. They asked me. And I'm like, dude, I have no idea. I have no clue. I don't even know what you. I have no idea. And they were like, hey, big man, we're gonna get you out of here, man. Everything gonna be all right. Shit, they made that shit better for me. So, but I complied with the officers. Now think about this: 6'2", 300 pound, carrying a gun. Think about if I would have been belligerent. Think about if I would have said, I'm going to work, man. I ain't got time for this shit. Your boy might not even be here to talk to y'all right now. So you have to understand their situation as well as our situation. Yes, it's a little inconvenience on us, but also don't put them in a situation where you're already a threat and now you're being more threatening. So educate yourself on how to deal with the officers. Not necessarily saying how to deal with them being arrested, but the officer has to come in and do an investigation. He has to come in and figure out what's going on. He has to come in and say, hey, okay, you guys go over here, you guys go over here. There'll be an officer over there interviewing them. There'll be an officer over there interviewing them. They'll collaborate stories. They'll figure out what's going on, and they'll make the appropriate arrests. Let them do their job. And one of the biggest issues that I have with all of that is know your Miranda rights. The first thing they say is, and why is it the first thing that they say? You have the right to remain silent. So, you guys out there, shut up. Just shut up. Just figure out what's going on and shut up. Keep your mouth closed. They don't care what you was doing. They don't care. They're trying to figure out what's going on. Shut up. When they ask you a question, answer it. So do your best to follow the Miranda rights. Shut up. So I know, it's kind of light, and I'm being lighthearted right now, but I want you guys to understand, you step on your toes half the time. It's your fault half the time. Now, jumping into Michael Brown, I can't say anything bad about this young man. I don't care about him stealing cigarettes earlier. That's not justification for a man killing another man, some funky cigarettes. No. What I care about and what I'm hoping everybody out there in Missouri cares about is that he was complying with the officer. He was in a non-threatening position. He was not coming after the cop. He was not going after the cop's weapon. He was not fighting with the cop. And he was in a submissive position even when the first shot was fired. That's what we need to look at. That's what we need to focus our attention on. And that's what we need to gather our troops, so to say, and do something about this in an organized way. Get all your politicians together. Get the black cops together. Get, the white cops together. Get all of your people in that community. Al Sharpton going into your community is going to be nothing but a distraction. Get black leaders and leaders from that community to step forward. You guys need to sit down, go to the town hall, sit down and come up with a plan, first and foremost, to take care of the cop that shot this young man, and he should not be able to work for the police department in any form. Okay? That's first. This man should not be part of that police department at all. He should not be able to work for the city at all. He can't go be a bailiff. He can't go be a correction officer, because that's what they'll do. They'll transfer him somewhere else. He's still making $70,000 a year, and you don't want that. You want this man fired, terminated from the city, and he cannot hold another city position. So take care of that. And then also, just like, and I know you guys are just listening to me, but do you guys know the cigarette companies are in business because they put billions of dollars in a reserve fund? So if anybody dies from their product and they, you want to go after the cigarette company, you don't go after the cigarette company anymore. They pay you from this fund that they set up through the government. It's kind of smart, and because they kill way more people than guns. They kill way more people than anything out there right now. I think cigarettes is the #1 killer in America right now. So they have set it up with the government that they have a trust fund. When you sue to the tobacco industry, they don't come out of their pocket and pay it. They already have a $1 billion fund set up. They pull that money out of that, and that's how those people get paid. So once you look at it like this, the police department is an entity. They need to put up a fund. The city, the state needs to put up a fund. So when things like this happen, and it's not like Michael Brown is the first. It happens all the time. Like I said, I like doing my research. So even doing research like this, there was I think a little Hispanic girl that was running from the cops, and they tased her, and one of the prongs went into her head. And also, she fell. The way she fell was like crazy. She fell hard. And the next picture is so disturbing. Like half her head was missing. She was in the hospital. She eventually died from her wounds. That family needs to be taken care of. That family needs to, her medical bills need to be taken care of. And that officer was the direct cause of her brain injuries, period. Whether she had dope on her, whether she had anything on her, that is a horrible way to die. Same thing with Michael Brown. That kid's family needs to be taken care of. So if you guys can get together, first thing first, and try to make every department, every police department, every state department, put together a fund for victims of the cops. And also, and if you have been accused and found guilty of excessive force, you can no longer work for the city. You can no longer hold a job with the police department. They do it for domestic violence, but they won't do it for shooting a black man. They won't do it for shooting a citizen of America. So put that into collective bargaining together with some people and see if we can make something happen. Get all your lawyers, get all your community leaders, get all your politicians. Sit down. Because here's my thing. This is just an idea for me. I'm really nobody. But if you get all those people together and you pitch this idea, and somebody might say, oh yeah, I understand what he's talking about, then you guys can get the ball. You change it here and there, you add on to it, you take away from it, and you turn it into a perfect situation for everybody, not just blacks, not just whites. Turn it to a perfect situation for everybody. There's another story on here where a young man was walking out of a convenience store, and the cop shot him. Well, he didn't comply with the officers. Well, he had on his earbuds. He didn't hear the officers. 20 years old, shot dead. Tell me that man family don't deserve something, and you tell me that cop should be a cop? When you guys look on this, after you see this, scroll down about 7 or 8, posts down. I posted something on there that said every cop doesn't deserve to be a cop. There's a cop standing over a lady. He has her subdued, and he's wailing on her. You don't think she deserves something? So put your heads together, and this is what I'm always talking about. All those guys that's out there protesting and being violent, listen, you need those guys. Those are your soldiers. Those are your foot soldiers. Take those guys and educate them. Those guys that are out there protesting peacefully, you need those guys as well, because people will listen to those people and they understand that violence isn't always the key. So that's a different branch of what we're going to call your army. Okay, you got your foot soldiers, you got your educated people. So now you're going to get into your politicians, you're going to get into your cops that are on your side, you know, because they live in that neighborhood. They come from that community. So they're going to want to be a part of this. And your politicians and everybody. So get your army together, get everything going, and get an agenda. Now, once that's all said and done, you know, we got to start enforcing these laws, and we got to start enforcing, you know, punishing cops for doing bad things, and giving this family some kind of retribution, giving this family some kind of money, giving some kind of closure, because there won't be any, because their baby is dead. Something is better than nothing. But I want you guys to think about that. Take this with you. The lawyer that's representing the family, please, the one that said that this is a test, that this is an experiment, please fire him immediately. He's a young black man that has no sense of the past. It's not the first time a black man has died dealing with the police officers. This is not the first time a black man has died in the custody of a police officer. This is not an experiment. This is an ongoing trial. We're being executed out there. It's not something that just happened the first time and he's like, oh, this is an experiment. We don't know what to do. Please, whoever he was, I don't know his name, but I was watching him on the news and they interviewed him. He is one of the lawyers that's representing the family. Please fire that man. He needs to be fired. Don't have him represent you, because guess what? Sometimes they put somebody in there that you might think is on your team, but is not on your team, and just by his words, he's not on our team. You got to get rid of him. You got to. I beg you, get rid of that man. He doesn't know his history. He doesn't know his past. So he can't, he wouldn't say this is an experiment. It's not an experiment. This is an ongoing process. It's been going on for years. If you don't believe me, Google it. So that's all I have to say about that. Once again, like I said, every time I put something on here, I want it to be informative. I want it to be educational. This is more my 2 cents and more my view on Eric and Michael. Eric is definitely should not be held in the same regards as Michael. Eric was being combative. Eric was being a bully. If you watch the video, you watch the whole video. If what's true, that's about Mr. Brown, we need to do something. You guys out there need to do something, and tearing up your own community, it's not going to help. All that's doing is putting more of us in jail. Okay? So with that said, I hope you guys have a great day, have a great weekend. Peace.